Well, I think I need to answer this real quick. Is Roll20 trash? Welcome to Displacer Geeks. My name is Brian,
And I'm Hudson, and we're two geeks talking about the geek.
and today we have a special topic. We're going to talk about is Roll20 garbage?
I think technology beat you on that one. I don't think Roll20 itself is up the issue.
Oh, you think so? Okay. All
Yeah,
right. Well,
yeah.
let's explain to people what happened. So, Hudson and I played D&D just last night, and we got onto a paid platform with virtual tabletop, and he bought the session for me, which is awfully nice. But it was the first time I had ever used a virtual tabletop platform, and we used Roll20.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to point out that I've been using Roll20 for like over a year, and Ryan, I feel a little bad about the Roll20 getting you.
yeah, so let's talk about how it started. So I was very
Rough.
excited. I created a dwarf fighter named Droke. He was just kind of a hired mercenary. I wanted to go simple as possible since I didn't really know the group of people that I was playing with. And I thought, we'll just be super simple. And dwarves
Yep.
are awesome. And
Yeah,
mercenaries are easy to play.
they are. I was playing the character we talked about previously. I went with Rufus the Younger for the name, but that it was
You're,
that character build that we had talked about in a previous episode.
yeah, the barbarian paladin home run
Yep.
hitter, the
Yep.
Babe Ruth
I
of
got my
barbarians.
I got my home run, but we'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will. Yes, you knew it would come, right?
Yep.
So starts out, we get together probably half an hour before the actual session. It was a 3 hour session, and I had a hard cutoff date at that 3 hours. But we start out, and I create my character, and I will say I started creating it in the Character Mancer in D20, in Roll20, excuse me. And first time using it, a little clunky, not super great,
Right.
but not the worst thing in the world.
Yep.
And then the session starts. The session was new to me as well. So it showed the map, and they were all asking, "Hey, first off, they said, is everybody good to go?" I'm hearing double voices at this point. So
Yep.
I'm hearing, is everybody good to go, good to go, good to go, good to go? And I'm like, no, 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 no. And they were like, "Oh, sorry, we're not hearing that." I'm like, okay. So we started playing, and I was hearing double of every voice. And holy cow, I could not concentrate for anything. The map popped up, and they said, "Does everybody have the tokens?" And I didn't. I figured they were talking about my character token on the map. I did not. Um, so before you play Roll20, uh, you'll have character tokens. It's actually pretty easy and convenient, everything.
Hmm.
But let me give you a piece of advice. Use dual monitors when you play Roll20 D&D because I'm playing on this tiny little laptop screen that I have, and everything overlaps each other, and you can't easily make things split screen on your one screen for that. That I could tell. And it took me quite a while to get used to that. So they would say, "Hey, roll this on your character sheet." I'm like, hold on. Let me click and scroll up to where I need to roll. Like, that's kind of a mess. But also, if you're new to Roll20 and they have the vision set up, we were in a dungeon. So on the map, I just see a tiny part of the dungeon, which is pretty cool. But I can't see hardly anything, and everybody's moving out of my vision. I'm hearing double of everything. I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on. It wasn't until like an hour and a half later that they were like, "Oh, your vision's set to this. Oh, well, we'll make it a little bit better." So then I was like, "Oh, now I can see some stuff." So that's cool.
Yep.
But so needless to say, I was struggling for the first hour or so until we figured out the audio thing. I was getting
Yep.
audio in from Discord and audio in from Roll20.
Yep.
So whoops, my bad, my bad. That's easy to fix in the future.
Yeah, it is. It was super easy. Once we
Super
figured
easy.
it out, it was just like a couple of clicks and we got that off and then right. So I think a couple of the things here is Roll20 does have native video and voice. So depending on how you feel about it, maybe you just use Roll20 instead of using Discord and Roll20.
Yeah, we were using Discord and Roll20. Why were we
So
doing that, Hudson? Is that any particular
it's
reason?
just this is the way that that particular group, Elite Ventures, operates. Every
Oh,
game I've
okay.
played with them has been we've done the video, or excuse me, we don't do video. The
Okay.
voice has been in Discord. The other thing
Gotcha.
is you can go into Discord for them, I think it's a good practice because you can go into the Discord and use it like a message board.
Oh, okay.
So, right, I can message them really easily, but Roll20 doesn't have that, doesn't really have that good of a, excuse me, a message board. So that'd be one reason to use Discord and that. And I don't know how good the voice and video is in
Okay.
Roll20. I've
I will
never
say
used it.
though, while you're playing in Roll20, there is a chat screen. So you can do little
Yep.
IMs to people. I don't know if you
Yep.
can do personal ones. I'm sure you can. But
Yeah, you can. There's an option at the bottom. There's a couple options at the bottom of the chat. You can choose how you're sending it. So you can say you're doing it as your character, or you can say you're doing it as yourself. So if some
oh,
people are like doing like,
interesting.
hey, like hey, like you can do like an out of character thing, like, hey, I'm gonna ask this question as myself instead
That's
of my
cool.
character, right? So I'd be like, Hudson is asking, like, like, can you describe this again? Right? Not so
Hmm.
much like the character is asking that, like it's just like the character isn't saying that or something. Because some people
Yeah.
they're really into it. Like I have one group where anytime they do like an out of character thing, they hold their hand up, oops, like this.
Oh, okay.
That way we know we're not saying definitively not saying that in character.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that because if you use a voice during D&D, which more and more people are, I think, but if you are not, it gets hard to know if people are saying it in character, out of character. And
Yep.
when I'm a GM, I really like having people try to play in character. So I don't love it when combat's about to happen or in the middle of combat and everybody wants to stop and talk about strategies and stuff while combat's going on because I'm typically like, no, 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 you got to do what your character thinks they're going to do. And, use an action while you attack or whatever, yell something out to try to give your other players the idea of what your strategy is. Because
Yep.
I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's that. Let's see what else we got.
Well, I think I need to answer this real quick. Is Roll20 trash?
Oh, I don't think so. What was your final verdict once we got the audio issues fixed?
No, no, Roll20 is not trash, not trash at
Yeah.
all. Now, let
Yep.
me do point this out though. I will say that I do love playing in person way more than I love playing virtually. Not a big
Mhm.
deal. You and I played in a campaign virtually several years back during COVID, Discord, but we didn't have any of the tools and stuff.
Right.
And once I got everything figured out and got everything, got used to the screens and stuff of switching on my tiny little laptop screen, which was super inconvenient. But as we were playing, I was like, oh, okay, I could see this actually being pretty nice, especially for people that can't get out and to their friends and
Right. Right.
family, or
Right.
if people live across the world, that type of thing. So
Sure.
super
Yep.
cool in that sense. I,
Yeah.
I like it. The map was neat. Um,
The lighting, I think is the huge thing
I
that
I
sets
think
that
the
one
lighting
apart.
is actually really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool. I'm a sucker for rolling physical dice, and on there you click on the dice, but I'm sure if you worked at the GM, they could
There,
trust you and you could roll.
yep. There is, there is, I don't want to call it a happy medium, but there is a medium that's
Yeah.
available on Roll20.
Okay.
You can set it up so it throws out like 3D model dice when you roll.
Oh, interesting.
So
Interesting. Yeah.
to me, like any like whether you use Roll20, Fantasy, Battlegrounds, what's the other one? Oh, D&D
D&D
Beyond.
Beyond.
Yeah. There's a myriad of them, right? But the big advantage of those is they do a lot of the math for you. Like nothing slows the game down like somebody going like, okay, now let
It's
me
seven
add.
plus three. Just it's 10. It's
I
10.
know, but I don't know what it is. Like you could be like,
I know.
you could have somebody be like, just like going through and talking to somebody that they would know what that is, right? But you put some pressure on them to do it in a quick order, and they just
Yeah.
absolutely freeze.
I call it math stress. I'm like that at the table at times. There's nights I'm pretty bad about it when I'm rolling on the table, but usually I'm not too bad at all. But there are definitely people that are like that. Yes, yes, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So what I would say though too is the GM was really good, a very pleasant person. Actually, all the players were very pleasant. But
Yeah.
since we were playing, I was playing with a bunch of strangers. So the role playing part of it was very slow at first, and I think that's probably pretty natural because people are
Yeah.
trying to get used to things. And I couldn't role play right away either because I was hearing double of everything. So they had
Right.
me announce my character at first, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So I said something. I don't know what I said. I'm a mercenary. I like coin, something generic. but I wanted to kind of get into it too. But boy, it was a cluster at first for me, and then I did realize, and there was people using voices, which was super cool, but
Oh yeah.
nobody had a good rapport, so everything was very clunky. People were talking over each other, um,
Yeah. I
and that
think
kind of, and everyone's like moving their tokens like way off to the screen sometimes, and the DM would be like, "Hey, put those back, please." So, but again, if you are playing with even strangers, that's cool. But what I would say is if you think it's kind of slow and clunky, just in general, you got to make sure that you're taking part of the campaign. If you're just sitting there not saying anything, well, then you're not really like helping everybody
yeah.
play the game.
Yep.
And then also make sure you're letting people talk and that sort of thing
Mhm.
as well. Just be like respectful and polite there. But boy, if we were to take our gaming group, Hudson, and throw it online and play, I think it'd be fun. I don't think it'd be
Yeah.
a problem at all. I don't.
Yep.
I mean, we'd have to get everybody used to Everybody would just have to get used to it. That first session, what? I don't know, half an hour into the first session, hour into the first session, then it's fine after that. I don't think there'd be any
Yeah.
issue.
I think and if you were to do like any kind of like recording or something, you might want to do a couple of practice sessions just
Yeah.
to just to iron out some of the things, like the double
Yes.
audio. Once you figure that out.
Yeah. Um, One of my favorite things that happened in that was we were, in a tiny little dungeon room and all the villains showed up and it was super packed and I was like, what a fun moment. Because
Yep.
half the group's like kill him now and the other half's trying to figure out what's going on, and the visual of that was pretty fun. I liked that a lot, but right around that time I had to go. It was our 3 hour mark, but the GM kind of felt bad, so he kept going,
Yep.
and Hudson got to use his barbarian paladin.
Yep.
And Hudson, did you hit a home run?
I hit a home run.
Hmm.
So I initially was going to do the Leonin. For whatever reason, they didn't have that option. So I ended up using Tabaxi and then just described him as a Leonin. But I did use the racial traits. So the guy, you were there, right? The guy, like, when the guy Thunder stepped away.
I was there for your first hit, which was like 58 points of damage.
Yeah. So I, right. Well, he teleports away. He does a ton of damage to like everybody. He kills like kills one of his lackeys,
Okay.
pulls the big bad null away with him.
Hmm.
And so I see somebody like run forward and shoot like in a certain direction. And I'm like, okay. So like I ran up to like where that guy was. Then I could see where the guy actually landed. And I was able to use the Tabaxi has an ability called feline agility, which you double your speed
Hmm.
for like one round.
What was that, 80 feet?
So I got to go 60, right?
60? Okay.
Because it was split. I didn't have the extra speed from the barbarian. And then I was able to, because I went uh totem warrior eagle, I was able to bonus action dash. So I got up to him
Excellent.
and I was like, reckless attack, hit him. The first hit was a crit too.
Nice.
First hit was a crit, and then I hit him again. I did 84 points of damage. So I averaged
Wait,
44
wait, wait.
points of
In one hit?
two hits. So
Oh,
I averaged
you tried to finagle that the other day in your text. I thought you were
I
saying you
no
did
like
88 damage in one
one
hit.
turn. I meant
Yeah,
one
yeah,
turn.
that's pretty good.
Still pretty good.
Yeah,
Like I think that was the biggest one turn. He was dead.
yeah, I bet.
He
I
was
bet.
dead. However, he wasn't the final bad guy.
Oh, I'm not surprised. The God thing probably came out, right?
Yep. So we
Okay,
were
what was that?
playing he was playing we were playing a thing called Tomb of Tiberash. So Tiberash showed up because we actually found
Nice.
him and he was a mummy lord.
Sweet.
So yeah, it got ugly.
Ha
I hit
Harry
Tiberash.
quick.
Yeah, it got it pretty hairy quick. I ran up. I was hitting Tiberash. I didn't have a magical weapon.
Oh,
So right. So my weapon was doing no damage. I still managed to do like 40 points of like just pure radiant damage to him though.
oh, okay.
Right. But then I was gassed. And
Yeah.
then at a certain point, he raised the guy that I killed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was like being a zombie. That guy like summoned a fire elemental, and the fire elemental set me on fire.
So, wow, what did you do here? What do I need to do in the next few sessions?
Right. So the mummy lord raised the mage that I killed, and
Awesome.
yeah, and then so we had to re-kill the mage. We went 10 rounds of combat. So if you D&D, that's a lot.
That's too long. That's too
That's a
long.
lot.
But I mean, with the map and everything, I could see how that could be pretty entertaining still. So,
Yep. So I'm on fire,
mhm.
right? And I'm fighting this mummy lord that I can't actually do damage to.
Yeah. So you go give
So
it a hug?
I did give him a hug. I even pushed him down on the ground.
Yeah.
There was another time he managed to get away from me. I ended up like running around the map. Oh, I found like something that like was part of him at one point. I threw it in like one of the braziers, and burnt that. And there was like a valuable rod. Like I gave it to like one of the clerics, but I ended up trying to like push him into like areas where like because a lot of people had like spirit guardians, um, guardian spirit, those type of spells up. So I was trying to like push him into or keep him in those
Oh,
areas.
sure. Yeah.
So he was taking that damage
That's fun. What a way to
while I was on
make
fire.
yeah. What a way to make use of a hard moment too, where you can't damage the thing. So that's what's great about role playing. Like, hopefully people that play don't just get discouraged and go, "Oh, I can't do anything. This is dumb." Like, no,
Yeah.
like make
While I was
something
on,
of it.
yeah, I was on fire too. And honestly, one of the things is like barbarians, they either need to make an attack or take damage to keep the rage going.
Well, that's
So
perfect.
I kept getting damaged from the fire.
Yeah.
They're like, you can put that out. I'm like, no, I need it.
Yeah.
So I'm this raging
That's awesome.
barbarian running around on fire, taking
Place
like
had
a
to smell a lot like burnt hair with the tabaxi,
oh yeah. I
That's awesome.
actually would have straight up died though. Like one of the clerics was giving like temporary hit points, had an ability that was giving temporary hit points for like a minute.
Okay.
I
Sure.
would have, I was like, did I actually just die here? Like, I remember thinking that a couple of times. I was like, man, I'm
It's a
like,
one
it would
shot.
have been pretty epic. So, into the story though, like, because we're kind of winding down, like, we actually managed to finally get the guy.
Okay.
Like towards the end, we were pretty gassed. But eventually, like we managed to whittle them down,
Defeated.
and yeah,
Okay.
and I think a lot of that was the spirit guardians and the guardian spirit doing
Cool.
damage to him.
Cool.
Uh,
Cool.
and we finally got him, and the DM is just like, I'm never running this. Like it's a fun module. I think he's right. It's a fun module. It is not a one shot. It
Oh,
is.
okay.
This is no. There is no bloody way.
That's
Uh,
funny.
the way we went because I've played. That was the second time I played that module.
Okay.
We went to the
So did you
left.
already know what was going to happen?
No, we
Oh, okay.
our party went to the left. When I played, we went to the right.
Oh, that's fun that you can have that big of a difference. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good.
And we went to the right and we basically had to call it because like
Just nutso.
there's a whole bunch of other stuff. Like you're supposed to like find
Yeah.
another way down to that bottom, but we happened to go to the left and we happened to explore that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
So
Interesting. Huh. So, overall, Roll20, very good product. I can easily see how people would enjoy it. Just make sure you get used to have the patience to get used to it and you'll be just fine. I
yep.
mean, I don't think anybody's going to have that hard time getting used to it by any means at all. So, thought it was a good experience. I think everybody enjoyed it and we had a super good time and I think you should check it out sometime too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks
All
for
right.
watching and we will
Yeah,
see
thank you.
you next time.
Yeah, next time on Displacer Geeks.